Self-awareness is where many heartbreaks start and where healing begins. You haven't been asking for too much. You've just never asked for the kind of love your heart actually needs. Hi, my friend. Welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and I've overcome some of the most devastating heartbreaks I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself stuck in sadness after a broken heart, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest hurts. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those heartbreaks. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend. Welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. If this is your first time tuning in, then welcome. And if you've been riding with me since episode 1, you already know I appreciate you deeply. Last time we talked about heartbreak. Of course we talked about heartbreak and how it often stems from unmet, unspoken expectations. And today we're pulling that thread a little further through the needle because those expectations don't come out of nowhere. They come out of how we're wired to love and how we expect to be loved in return. So let's talk about how God wired you to love. Let's talk about your love language. And more importantly, let's talk about how understanding it might be the key to healing from heartbreak you didn't even know was avoidable. Before we go any further, I want you to breathe this in. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. And that beautiful verse comes from Psalm 139, 13 through 14. You were knit together by God, not copied, not mass-produced, but handcrafted, fearfully and wonderfully made. And that means that the way that you connect, the way that you love, the way that your heart speaks and receives love is sacred. It's not random. It's not accidental. When we ignore that design, or we don't take the time to educate ourselves and understand it, we set ourselves up for disappointment, burnout, and yes, even heartbreak. Because if you don't know what you need, you can't ask for it. And if you can't ask for it, you'll settle for love that doesn't actually fill you up. Self-awareness is where many heartbreaks start and where healing begins. You haven't been asking for too much. You've just never asked for the kind of love your heart actually needs. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That one comes from Proverbs 4:23. I need you to tuck that one deep down inside. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Self-awareness is how you guard your heart before it breaks. It's how you set boundaries, build clarity, and stop blaming yourself for connections that were never truly aligned. And I'll be honest with you, getting to this kind of clarity takes time. For years, I didn't fully understand what I needed to feel loved. I knew I wanted connection. I knew I wanted to feel safe, supported, and seen, but I couldn't always put a language to it. It wasn't until I started learning about love languages and really tuning into how God wired me that things started to make sense. So let me tell you what that looked like in my life. I've always received love the most deeply through quality time and physical touch. When I feel close to someone, sitting across from them, having real conversation, being physically present is when I feel most connected. That's when I feel loved. But I didn't always know that. So in the past, I'd be in relationships where someone would say, "Love you," but they were always busy. Or they'd buy me gifts and gifts and gifts, but they were emotionally unavailable. And I remember feeling confused and hurt, even though they thought they were doing everything right. They were showing love. They just weren't showing love in a way that I could feel it. And because I didn't know or honor my own love language, I didn't ask for what it was that I really needed. And so that led to unrealized expectations, disappointment, and yes, heartbreak. But once I learned that quality time and physical touch are my primary love languages, everything changed. And I'll go a step further, not just once I learned, but once I learned to communicate that to my person, my partner, I stopped expecting them to just know it. I got intentional about the way that I communicated. And even more importantly, I started viewing new relationships with clarity. Now, if someone can't offer presence or physical closeness, I don't force that connection because I understand what I need to feel whole. And I honor that. And I never apologize for it. So what are the 5 love languages? Well, they're a concept that was developed by Dr. Gary Chapman. And there are 5 core love languages that we each give and receive in love. This applies to every relationship, not just romantic relationships, but also platonic ones, spiritual ones, and even how we love ourselves. So let's break each one of those 5 love languages down. The first one, words of affirmation, verbal encouragement, appreciation, and acknowledgement. Things like, "I'm proud of you. You mean so much to me." Words like that feed the soul of someone who values words of affirmation. The second, quality time, is undivided attention, meaningful conversation, shared experiences, not just being around, but actually being with someone. Third is receiving gifts, thoughtful gestures that say, "I see you, I thought of you, I thought you might like this." It's not really about materialism, it's about the meaning behind the gift. Fourth, acts of service. Love shown through action by helping or supporting or easing someone's burdens. "Let me do that for you" becomes a powerful message of care for the person who most values acts of service. Physical touch, connection through presence, hugs, a hand on your shoulder, holding hands, or simply just being held. It's about feeling safe and grounded through physical closeness. Physical touch is a love language that many people value. We all need all 5 of these at some level. We're not one-dimensional creatures, but most of us have 1 or 2 that sit in our emotional sweet spots. You may appreciate kind words. You may love time together. You may enjoy little gifts, but one of them probably hits deeper than the rest. Knowing what speaks to your heart the loudest, that's vital, because that's where unmet expectations can quietly build if you're not aware. Here's another truth I want you to hold on to. You do not have to get all of your emotional needs met from one person. That's just not realistic. And honestly, it's not healthy. God did not design us to live in isolation. He gave us community. Your love tank might be filled by your village, a friend who speaks your language, a sibling who gets you, or even your own self-love practices. Also, your love languages can shift as you grow. What you needed 5 years ago may not be what you need now, and that's the beauty of self-awareness. It grows with you. Let me ask you something, my friend. Have you ever felt heartbroken? Not because someone didn't care, but because they didn't know how to love you in the way that your heart needed. Have you ever been the one doing the loving and felt confused when it wasn't received the way that you meant it? This week, I want you to sit with yourself, not with shame, but with curiosity, with ruthless intentionality. And I want you to reflect on these 4 things. Number 1, what is your primary love language? And how do you know? How do you know that's your love language? Number 2, think back on a moment of heartbreak when you felt like your heart was breaking into a million pieces. What expectation was underneath that? And was that expectation ever spoken or understood by the other person? Number 3, where can you invite more love into your life? From your partner, from your village, from your faith, and from yourself. And number 4, how can you show your self-love in your own language today? I want you to remember that you are worthy of the love that you crave. And your healing starts by learning exactly what it is you need and giving yourself permission to honor that. My friend, remember that you are not too much. You are not hard to love. You are not asking for the impossible. You were wired a certain way on purpose by a God who doesn't do duplicates. So, your needs, they're not weaknesses. They are divine invitations to intimacy, to alignment, and to truth. When you know how you're designed to love, you stop chasing love that doesn't fit, and you start creating relationships that feel like home. Next time on Bounce Back Black Woman, we're going to keep building on this self-awareness journey. And we're going to talk about what resilience really looks like. Not just survival, but bouncing back with vision, boundaries, and joy. So until then, be gentle with your heart. Speak your language with love. And remember, your bounce back starts with ruthless intentionality. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.